And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Tim Fowers has really made a name for himself. He first game Wok Star, a cooperative game about running a Chinese restaurant. Then he made Paperback, which was a deck-building game mixed with a word game, which sounded bad, but it was actually incredibly good. So his third game, of course, has me interested in it, and that's Burgle Brothers. Especially, I like the box here. It looks like a skyscraper. It has a cool theme. You are a band of thieves trying to break into a building and rob the vault. I'm pretending that we're like Ocean's 11. We're doing a good thing. Well, I guess those guys weren't really doing something good. Well, we're doing it for a good cause. Whatever. The fact is, you're trying to get in, but there's guards walking around. You got to sneak past the guards. Let's take a look at it. Now you'll see here I have this huge wooden thing here on the table. This is something that you can buy from the website to use with Burgle Brothers, because Burgle Brothers is 3/4s, and you're going to put these tiles out in the middle of the table in 3/4s, one on top of each other. Well, you can use this structure here if you'd like a visual representation of the fours, and the structure is good enough so that you can actually reach in here. The way that they have the pylons, you can reach in here and don't knock anything over. Now this is one of, I think, their early versions, so it's not as nice as the ones that you can get from the thing now. But of course, if you get this, you're going to have to store it somewhere else than the box, because this is the box for the game. It's a small box here, and so this won't fit into that. So that's up to you whether you want it. You don't actually need it, and I'm not going to be showing it as I set the game up here, just because of for camera views and things. But this is available from their website. Now this is part of a game. A game actually has 3 fours, but for sake of camera, I'm just going to show you 2 of the fours. So there would be a third 4 placed to the side. There's different levels. In fact, you can play a 2-level game. It's a simpler game, and there's a more advanced game. On each level, you're going to have walls that are placed according to the way that the rule book shows you, but you're also going to have random tiles put out. Now, there is a safe on each floor, and there are stairs on each floor. Other than that, I don't know what's on each floor. I do know there is a guard, so we will turn over a card for the guard here, and that will tell me where he starts. So he starts here in D2 on this spot here. Players are going to decide where they're going to come in. So let's say players decide they're going to come in here. Each player is going to pick, or I guess you don't have to pick, you can just draw them randomly, a character card. These character cards will have special abilities. When you pick one, you can pick either side. They have a regular side and an advanced side. Basically, they're wearing their street clothes, or they're wearing the clothes that they would use when they're cracking into the safe. So here she's either the juicer or the juicer, ready to go. And again, they have special abilities. Each player is also going to get some stealth tokens. The best way to think of these tokens is as if they were life point tokens. Now there's a guard that starts on the floor, and at the beginning of the game you're going to draw a card. So this shows D3. I'm going to put the guard's dice on this floor, and that's where he is heading towards. He's just making his rounds. Now on a player's turn, they have a certain number of actions that they can take. They can take 4 actions, and they can take the same actions over and over again. One of those actions can be peek. You simply take a tile and reveal it. So here, this is a detector. If you're holding a tool or loot, it triggers an alarm. So I can also move. So maybe I move for my second action. For my third action, I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to move without peeking. So I'm not going to see what it is. And I flip the tile over, and I found the safe. Hooray, I'm safe. But however, sometimes you'll find things that aren't as safe. Maybe there's a motion detector. I either stop here or I trigger an alarm. You don't necessarily want to trigger an alarm, because an alarm will move the die that the guard is going to that spot. Unless, of course, you want to trigger the alarm so that he goes to that spot. Now, after a player has gone, the guard on the floor they are on moves. So if I'm on the second floor, the guard there moves. If I'm on the third floor, the guard there moves. Whichever guard is on your 4 moves. They will move the number on the die. The die here on 4-1 starts at 2. The die here on 4-2 starts at 3. And the die on 4-3 starts at 4. However, they will also move an extra spot for every alarm. So this guy's going to be moving 3. So 1, 2. Okay, he moves here. And then we're going to turn over a new card, A4. That's where he's going to be heading now. And he turns the alarm off. So he still has a third one to go, so he moves into my spot. Now, when a guard moves into your spot, or you move into the guard spot, you have to pay a stealth token. If all your stealth tokens are gone, the guard catches you, you immediately give up the names of everybody else, and everyone loses. So you don't want that to happen. You want to try to make sure you stay out of the guard's paths, and there's a few ways to get stealth tokens back. Now, what you're trying to do is, as the game goes by, you're trying to find different spots. For example, here is a computer spot. This is a useful spot because it is a hack place. On this spot, you can spend an action to put hack tokens. You can use these tokens because, let's say later on, you come across a motion room. You can discard a token on here to stop that motion room from happening. So you can store these up here to basically protect yourselves. Here's a fingerprint computer room. Here's a secret door, which lets you go into this room through the walls. Here's a laser, which costs 2 actions to enter, else you trigger an alarm there. Here's a thermo. If you stop there, you end the alarm. Here's a foyer. You can see into this room from adjacent, so the guard can see you from adjacent rooms. Here's a fingerprint. As soon as you go into that room, it goes off. Here's a laboratory. You go in there, you draw a tool. Tools are cards that are useful and helpful. They range from donuts to a makeup kit where you can discard to give everyone on your tile a stealth token. Dynamite, which lets you get rid of a wall. An EMP, which gets you get rid of arms from all 4s, basically for 1 turn. A smoke bomb, roller skates, you know, your typical stuff that I've always taken with me. Here we have a deadbolt. Basically, you can't go in here, but if it's empty, it costs... Normally you can't go in there, but if it's empty, it takes 3 of your actions to go into that. Here we have a keypad, which you have to roll a die to go in here, and you have to get in a certain number. Here, if this had been on the 2nd floor, you could fall down to the 1st floor. And here we have the stairs. Now the stairs are what we're looking for, because the stairs allow you to go to the same spot on the next floor. To win the game, players have to hack the safe. There's a safe on each floor. They have to hack the safe on each floor. And then on the 3rd floor, they need to find the stairs and everybody needs to get out. There's a helicopter on the roof. Now, how do you hack a safe? Well, when you are on a safe spot, you can spend 2 actions to add a die to that spot. And you're going to be wanting to add dice to a spot. You can also crack the safe for an action. When you do that, you're going to roll dice and try to get the numbers for the combination of the safe. Well, what are those numbers? Well, if you look here, in the row and column the safe is in, you can see numbers here. I got 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, and 6. So I rolled a 4. So I'm able to cancel out one of the 4s. So those are the numbers that you need. So you're going to have to reveal all the tiles in the row and column. So maybe someone tries again, and now I rolled 2 6s. Well, here's a 6, and there's a 2 I also rolled. So I still need a 4 and a 2 and a 4 here. So I need 2 more 4s and a 2. Maybe I rolled 2 4s for a second. Well, it doesn't matter. Once you've got all those taken care of, the safe is open. You're going to get loot, which you must carry. There's different types of loot, and the loot usually gives you some sort of negative thing, like if you're carrying a cat, each turn you roll a die and the cat might run away from you. If you're a chihuahua, he might trigger an alarm on your tile. A cursed goblet here, you lose 1 stealth. So there's different things when you get the loot, but you also find a tool to help you. And once you get the safe, that's great. You can do the safes in any order, doesn't matter, but you need to get all 3 done before you go out the stairs on the 3rd floor. Finally, if you take 2 or less actions on your turn instead of all 4, you will draw an event card. Event cards can be from good to bad, have a video loop, change of plans, activate the next patrol card on your floor, jump the gun, skip the next player's turn, gymnastics, walk away tiles act as stairs for 1 round, espresso, the guard in your floor has 1 additional movement this turn. So they can be bad, and a lot of them are bad, so you got to be careful about these action cards. So either the guard's going to catch somebody, or you're all going to escape. Remember, the guards in higher floors move faster, and if the guard goes through the whole deck here, we'll reshuffle it, and his speed goes up 1. Not to mention, it's also, his speed's increased by any active alarms that are going off. Got to crack those safes to win. I'd like to start out by saying that I really enjoy this game. It's a very fun, cooperative game. I have a few things. First of all, the game comes in this box. This is the same box that he put paper back in. And these are nice boxes, especially, like I said, I like the fact that it looks like a building. What I don't like, though, is this box is really, while too small, technically not true because you can fit all the pieces in. I don't like the fact that every time I put the game away, I have to fit the pieces in like a jigsaw puzzle or they won't all get in there. I mean, it barely fits in the game. A bigger box would have been a lot nicer. And why not have a big one that included a board? I mean, I know that big wooden thing would be too expensive and unwieldy to ship, but maybe a cardboard type thing. I don't know. I don't know that that's necessary. I played with this, monstrosity. But the problem with this board is, as much as I like it, when we got to the top section, we literally had to stand up to play. Because you're like, okay, I can't see unless I stand up. So we're all standing up on the top floor anyway. So, it's like the fun part of the game. So that's it. I mean, the artwork, love the artwork. It is odd that I got stickers for the advanced character and the base character, but you only have one figure. And so, which sticker do you put on? I put on the stickers I like better, but that could be confusing if you're looking for your figure that matches your card. That's not a big deal. Components are great though. I like the components. Just one of the bigger box. Okay, let's talk about the game. It's a co-op game. It is a very difficult co-op game. I don't mind the difficulty. There's going to be times where I think you're going to lose just based on pure random because the way the thing's set up, you go, there's no way I could have made it here. The way the guard moves, he just jumps on top of you a couple times in a row, and that's that. That's okay because the game is not that long, although I had in one game, I think that was less than 10 minutes. But for the most part, the game is beatable, and that's good, right? And you can also increase or decrease the level. But I really enjoy the guard movement. The guard movement, how the guards move around. They're doing this, they're going here. And it's cool because they're kind of just walking around, and you're like, oh, okay, they're walking in that direction. I see where they're walking. Let's get over here and do this. The guard movement's kind of intriguing because only the guard on your 4 moves, which means in a game with a lot of players, the game is actually a little harder. The more players, the harder it is. But with a game with a lot of players, if you all stay in the same 4, that guard's going moving around, and so before your turn comes, he's probably going to run into you. Which means with multiple players, you need to find those stairs as quickly as possible and get at least one, probably more, of players on another 4 so that the guard is only moving on half the turns. And then so he won't move on. It's a lot easier to avoid him that way. Now, the theming of this is that nothing happens in a movie unless you're on camera. Okay, I can buy that, and I have to say I like the theme integration of this. Really, there's alarm, and we're hacking things and hacking the computer. And by the way, the computer being the row and column numbers, it's a little cool, brilliant, cooperative thing. I like that. It's a pretty neat idea. But the whole thing and the stuff that you're getting and finding the safe and getting to the roof and finding a helicopter, the theme is really strong. So even though there's a bit of luck involved, and sometimes you're just going to lose because it just didn't work out. But figuring out as a group where you should go, how to use your special abilities. I'll move over here. The gasp says the guard goes and lands right on top of someone, or the relief when he goes the other way, or you decide I'm just going to go in this room and you set off an alarm and now the guard's coming towards you, or you set off an alarm on purpose so the guard does come towards you and gets away from somebody else who's trying to crack the safe, and you're wondering how many actions to spend on adding dice to the safe before you just start rolling them, how to utilize people's special ability. Just a lot of good stuff packed in this box. I said it's a too small box, but really there's a lot of game in here. So if you like cooperative games at all, and you like the theming of heist movies, Ocean's 11, The Italian Job, etc., you will find this entertaining. I certainly offered some things I haven't seen in games before, so huzzah for Burgle Brothers. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!